everybody. Hello, good evening. Hello, welcome. I'm on a little bit early tonight, but I wanted to get a little bit of a head start. So, good evening. Excuse me. Hello. Good to see you. Hello, everybody. Hello. Oh my goodness, lots going on. Oh, good. I'm glad the time worked out. Yay. Hello. Oh, well, good, everybody. Welcome in. Tonight we're going to do everything Florida related. So we've got a lot of catching up to do on the Florida case. So right now I'm just kind of setting out our different counts for the classified documents, but then I want to go through Judge Cannon's order and we can talk about jury instructions. It certainly is, Mads. It certainly is. It seems like it. So, yes, there's quite a bit. I thought I would take a minute and just set out a visual aid, everybody, for all of our counts for the classified documents case. I have done the same for the New York case and found it to be very helpful. So I thought I would kind of continue on. I am feeling better. I still have a bit of a random cough, but I am definitely doing much better. Thank you so much. Good to see everybody. I'm glad to be back again. I was on just for a very brief amount of time earlier today just to hop on and say hello, but hello. Hello, good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Appreciate that. So I thought tonight would be the perfect time to talk about how jury instructions work, everybody. Yes, you have a good night too. Have a wonderful night. I do appreciate you coming by to say hello. So as I'm filling this out, I'm trying to remember we've got over 40 counts charged in the Florida case, everybody, but we do not have, we have a total of 32 documents. So lots of the counts have to do with false information to the FBI. So not every count is the classified documents, but we do have extra counts there. Solicitor General's reply for the motion to stay pending. No, I've not seen that yet, James. I'll have to write that down and go take a look at it. I'm trying to stay, excuse me, I'm trying to stay on top of everything, but it's a lot. We have a lot going on right now. Yes. Yeah, it's a good question. Why do jury instructions now? That's a really good question. And, every jurisdiction does jury instructions differently. Every judge does jury instructions differently. If you're in front of a judge that likes to take care of it, right away, that's, you kind of come prepared. I know in the Georgia RICO case, they have already discussed some jury instructions. They haven't requested the attorneys turn in jury instructions yet, but they've already kind of been talking about it. So even just a couple of months ago. So it's definitely, there's no specific time to go through jury instructions. What I think is super interesting about talking about jury instructions in the Florida case is that Judge Cannon hasn't set out when the case is going to be. So that's the interesting thing about it. She hasn't even gone through the motions to dismiss as well. So very interesting. Oh, I just came on. Yep, I'm just getting my visual aids put together. I thought we could talk about the different classified documents that have been set out in the Florida case tonight, along with Judge Cannon's order and the jury instructions discussion. From the Supreme Court to the lower courts. Yes, indeed. It just depends. It depends on what jurisdiction you're in and what's going on. So when I was a prosecutor, I always had my jury instructions. We have like model jury instructions or pattern jury instructions that we use for every case. And then we have special ones that we bring in for our case. So We have a whole set we use for every single time we go to court. And I like to always have them on hand in order to make sure I was meeting all of my elements as a prosecutor. But, you don't always have to do that. And especially after you do enough cases, I mean, you get to your 250th case and you're like, I don't really need to have those in my back pocket anymore. So, hello, John. Good to see you. Hello, Hawk. Kristen, welcome. Hello, everybody. Yes, Tay, good to see you. Yep, just coming in, coming in a little bit early tonight, so that I can kind of get a few things set up because I wanted to go through specifically what documents we're talking about in the Florida case, everybody. Now, of course, because we're dealing with classified documents, we can't know exactly what they are, but they have listed them out pretty well within the indictment here. So, yep, Have you looked into the appeal for the Georgia case? Will that impact the timeline? Great question, Paul. So what's happened, what's happened in the Georgia case is that several of the defendants have put in an appeal of Judge McAfee's order regarding the disqualification of D.A. Willis. So their appeal is going to be an interlocutory appeal, which means it's in the middle of a case instead of at the end. Because that interlocutory appeal is going forward into the Court of Appeals there in Georgia, the question then becomes, are we staying the whole entire trial then? And which is what happened in DC. And no, we are not. Judge McAfee has issued an order and has said we're going to keep it going. I've still got motions I need to answer. I've still got things I need to do. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. So he said, no, we're not going to pause. We're not going to stay. We're going to keep going. So even though this question of D.A. Willis is going in front of the appellate court, none of the other questions are. So any other question in this case, we're going to keep going forward. So yeah, we're going to keep going forward on the case. So I think that was, I think Mr. Trump and all of the defendants would have been preferred the entire court case to be stayed, but Judge McAfee wasn't having it. Yep. He just wasn't having it. So he's gone ahead and just said, nope, we're going to keep it going. So, oh, Andy, this is an amazing time legally. I mean, to have one defendant with this many different charges and this many different jurisdictions, it's amazing. This is a great time. Judge Kennel isn't compromised, then who is? Well, and that's a good question. I think that's a valid question. But we always have to ask the question, how compromised? And you can be compromised as long as you're not compromised to a point that you're violating any rules. So that really is the question, and we have to figure that out. So, oh, excuse me. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, look at the teddy bear. Oh my goodness. Thank you, everybody. Oh, that's so sweet. So, pardon. So I think it's a very interesting situation that we're in right now. Now, the Georgia case, everybody, we kind of had a feeling that it wasn't going to go to trial this year. I think we knew that just from the interviews that D.A. Willis was giving. I think we had a pretty good inclination. The New York criminal case, I truly do believe that's going to go, everyone. And I think the D.C. case could very well go as well. That's very possible. But when it comes to this Florida case, I have absolutely no idea. I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen with the time zone on this one. Yeah, it's hard to tell exactly what's going on here in Florida. It's hard. It's hard to know. So, good evening. Yes, so I thought tonight would be great for us to go through not only Judge Cannon's order that she set out, everyone, but to actually take a look again at the different documents that they are claiming are for each of the counts in the indictment, everyone. Slow walking the heck. Yeah, she certainly is at a minimum. So just to remind everybody, we have two indictments. We have the original indictment and then the superseding indictment. The superseding indictment added Carlos de Oliveira. It also added one more classified document and then a couple of other counts regarding destruction of information. No Jack response yes, yet. Yes, I'm definitely keeping my eye on it. Congrats on 77th. Oh, I know. I'm very excited, everybody. We should have some kind of a party at some point, shouldn't we? We should have a party to celebrate. Absolutely. Love your nails. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, so like we did for the criminal case, absolutely. What's the difference between being found liable and guilty? So we have two different worlds. They're just two completely different worlds. We have a civil world where you're found to be liable, so you caused the harm, and then we have the criminal world where you're found guilty, which means you are the person who did the crime. So one is a crime versus one is a wrongdoing in civil court. So sometimes we can have an overlap. You can be found guilty in criminal court as well as liable. Sometimes you can only be found liable, like O.J. Simpson, and found not guilty. So those are a couple of different methods. But the liability piece is not a guilty finding. It is just a finding of wrongdoing, and not necessarily wrongdoing that is illegal, just a wrongdoing. Some of our wrongdoings in civil courts aren't illegal. They're just, wrong. I'll bring the margaritas. Oh, yay. We love it. Oh, that's fantastic. All right. Well, let's go ahead and start flipping through. So this is the superseding indictment, everybody, again. Just to remind everyone, this was filed July 27th, although it seems like it was filed so long ago. Excuse me. Is the New York case pardonable? Yes, by the governor. The governor in New York could pardon any case. So any defendant who is found guilty in New York. Yep. So the federal cases can be pardoned by the president, and then every state case has a different way of going about it. So it depends on your state's jurisdiction, on who's in charge. Excuse me. Yes, exactly, Stacey. Yep. I mean, O.J. Simpson's the classic quintessential example of criminal versus civil. So let's just take a little look through here again, everybody, to remind everyone of what we're talking about before we go into Judge Cannon's order, because I think it's really important to recognize and remember what this whole case is about. That's very important. Won't pardon him for jaywalking. Yeah, I really don't know. Can he really pardon himself? Good question. We don't have a law against it, but that could be seen as a crime, pardoning yourself, I suppose. So there could be an impeachment question. So he could be impeached as president if he was president. It's a huge question that we've never had to deal with before. Can the cash judgments be pardoned? So that's a good question. Excuse me. If we have a civil finding for a judgment, that isn't something that can be pardoned. It can be something that can be expunged. You can have someone come in and dispel it, but because it's not a criminal case, it wouldn't qualify for a pardon. All right, so let's flip through, lest we forget the classified documents that we're talking about when we're dealing with this whole case. I'm fast forwarding here, everybody, so we can, again, take a look at these documents that we're talking about. Because, again, in Florida, I think we may be losing sight of what we're actually dealing with in Florida. So we have, let's take a, let's take a peek here. We have, first of all, an overview that they gave us. Now, this is on page 30 of the superseding indictment, and they go through the documents that were found. So first we have Trump's office. The number of documents that were found were 27. So the classification markings, now remember, classification markings are set by an executive order. They are set by the presidents, how they've set it over the decades. Mr. Trump could have changed that if he wanted to, but he didn't while he was in office. The last president to make any additions to the classification markings requirements was President Obama. So we have 6 top secret, 18 secret, and 3 confidential. So one thing to note also that a lot of people have questions about, the code section that Mr. Trump is charged with for each of the documents, it doesn't matter if it's top secret, secret, or confidential. The level of classification doesn't matter. They're all charged the same under the federal code. So just kind of keep that in mind. So a top secret document isn't worth more criminally than a confidential document, or a secret document and a confidential. It's just if it has one of these 3 markings on it, under the classification rules, under the classification law, the executive order that was set out, then it qualifies to be charged. All right. So Mr. Trump's being charged with retention or refusing to give back classified information. So again, just which level it's at isn't what's the key here. So we had 27 in Trump's office. We had 75 found in a storage room. And again, that breakdown is 11 top secret, 36 secret, 28 confidential. So 75 in the storage room. And that's the breakdown. Now, one thing to note too, everybody, to keep in mind, if we add these together, excuse me, everyone. If we add these together, we get more than 32. Now, I'm not going to add them together. Math isn't my strong suit. But that means we have 75 documents in the storage room and 27 here. And Jack only charged 32 documents, everyone. So I would remind you that if for some reason something happened with this indictment, with those 32 documents, there's a whole bunch more documents here that could be charged. 102, excellent. So just a friendly reminder that just because this indictment is going forward and we're working on it, if for some reason this indictment was to be dismissed for some crazy reason, that doesn't mean this case is over. It just means these particular documents could be set to the side and the next batch of documents could be charged. So that's just a friendly reminder about what's going on, because it's a little bit stressful out here when we're taking a look at it. All right, so excuse me, let's go ahead and take a look then at these documents. Now, of course, because they're classified documents, they couldn't put all of the information in the indictment, but they put a little bit in, enough for us or for everyone to be able to identify and distinguish each different document. Would the next batch fall under canon, or would it be a new judge? Great question, Mads. So if for some reason these 32 were gone and Jack decided to file another batch of 32, which again, you know, if we're looking at over 100 documents, he could keep filing and filing until all the documents had been filed. But if he wanted to file another batch of 30, we would spin the wheel again. We wouldn't know who the judge would be. It would be a random assignment of who the judge would be. So we don't know, but it could be canon or it could be someone else. We just do not know. We would spin the wheel. We'd start over again. So as we go through, let's take a look, because I want to kind of designate out each of these documents. So let's just kind of add this on. So count number 1, everybody. Again, we're being charged under 793E, but count number 1 was labeled top secret. And again, it doesn't matter what level of classification, it just matters if it was classified. And then the document itself was dated May 3rd of 2018. So we're just kind of keeping a way, writing down a way of keeping track of what each one of these documents are without going into too much information. So White House intelligence briefing related to various foreign countries. So I'm just going to write White House intelligence briefing on here. All right, so this is document number 1. Count number 1, document number 1. Did both E. Jean cases, why wouldn't Cannon get any other case? Yeah, it's possible. But again, Florida and New York, they handle how they assign cases differently. So, in this particular situation, if this judge dismisses this case and says we're done, why would she get this case again if she is just going to dismiss the case again? You know what I'm saying? So I think in Florida, the protocol is no matter what happens, you spin it again. So the magistrate judge that had worked on this was the same magistrate, but again, Judge Cannon was on before, but even when she was on before, they had to spin the wheel again, and she just happened to go on it again. All right, so that's count number 1. Count number 2, let's look at the next document then, everyone, was labeled another top secret document here. So that's 2 top secrets. This was May 9th of 2018 here. And again, I'm just trying to pull out what the evidence is so we can have some way of distinguishing each different piece. So we have a White House intelligence briefing related to various foreign countries. So the same thing. This is the same kind of document. So White House intelligence briefing, but it's the next day, the day after. Now, count number 3 was a top secret document again. So we'll write that down. Top secret. We have undated document concerning military capabilities. So let's write down it's undated. We don't know what date it is. And military capabilities. So this is a military record here. Military record for number 3. 32 counts is what we have, but they're all different. They're all different pieces of paper. So each one of these cards that I'm filling out is just representing one of the pieces of paper that he had kept that was labeled classified. All right, so that's number 3, a military record of a foreign country. Let's put that in there. And a foreign country, and it had handwritten notes on it. Handwritten notes. Okay, so that's document number 3. Yes, exactly. Piece of evidence so that we can keep it all straight, everybody. How many times are we going to flip through our indictment here? I think it's easier if you actually pull this apart to take a look at it. All right, so the next one, count number 4, was labeled top secret. Again, anything that's labeled top secret is going to be classified or secret. Any of those, they're all charged the same under the code. So this one is top secret, and it's a document dated May 6th. So we do have a date on that one, 2019. Intelligence briefing related to foreign countries, including military activities and planning of foreign countries. So we have another White House intelligence briefing. It looks like he really liked to keep those intelligence briefings. That's interesting. Foreign countries. Let's just write that down here. Foreign countries and plus military activities. Okay. Activities. So that's count 4. Okay, that was number 4. Offset loose cannon can jack file in New Jersey, given the CDs are found there. Absolutely. Anywhere that the documents were found or any of the information was found would be, they would have the jurisdiction to file. Absolutely. All right, so count 5 is another top secret document, which I'm wondering if he just filed a lot of those. Crazy held on to him, from my understanding, he refused even. Well, that's a really good point, isn't it? You think he should still be getting those updates? That's a valid question, isn't it? So a document dated in June of 2020. Here we go, June 2020. And what's this one then? Nuclear capabilities. Oh my goodness. All right, so this one is nuclear capabilities. Yikes. Nuclear capabilities. I mean, this is something too, everybody, that I'm like, I'm not sure how this would accidentally get mixed in with his golf clubs, of a foreign country. And, the next question too is for this document, let's look at count 5 again, labeled top secret, June of 2020. It has to do with nuclear capabilities. Is this something that a jury should be able to see? Right? That's the next question. I wonder if Biden will even let him. That's a good question. But, so Judge Cannon set out this order requiring proposed jury instructions, right? So we'll be going through this again. But she's saying, hey, let's talk about counts 1 through 32. So we're talking about count 5 right now. Let's go through her scenario then. In a prosecution of a former president for allegedly retaining documents in violation of 793E, a jury is permitted to examine a record retained by a former president in his or her personal possession at the end of his or her presidency and make a factual finding as to whether the government has proven beyond a reasonable doubt that it is personal or presidential, using the definitions set forth in the Presidential Records Act. And I'm not going to go into the Presidential Records Act because that's irrelevant, because the charge here is the classification marking. So if we just take a minute and we think to ourselves, we've got count 5 here. It's labeled top secret, which is what makes it classified, and it's nuclear capabilities of a foreign country. So let's go into her hypothetical. Do you think, how would you word that so that a jury could look at that and decide whether or not nuclear capabilities of a foreign country were personal records of the president? I'm just curious. Have to see the document. They only need, right. But I mean, that's the question. Jury will see the records, but I do not, right. Can only be declassified by the classifying agency, right? And of course, we have lots of rules even regarding that. So we have 3 things that are set out on this document. First, we have a classification marking, which puts it in a classified document. Classified document is not a presidential records, but she's asking them, tell me how to go forward under the Presidential Records Act. My answer to this would be, it's not possible. It's not possible because 793E and the Presidential Records Act do not conform. They don't work together. So the next one is B. A president has sole authority under the Presidential Records Act to categorize records as personal or presidential during his presidency. Neither a court nor jury is permitted to make or review such a categorization decision. Although there's no formal means in the Presidential Record Act by which a president is to make that categorization, an outgoing president's decision to exclude what he considers to be personal records from presidential records transmitted to the National Archives and Records Administration constitutes the president's categorization of those records as personal under the Presidential Records Act. So this next hypothetical again, how is it when we have something labeled under the classified records or the classified information law as top secret, how is it he can change a top secret record into a presidential record for his own personal benefit? Can some of the information be redacted so the jury can review? Yes, and that's one of the things that they are talking about. That's one of the ongoing discussions, is how much is going to be redacted in order to preserve the record itself. So this kind of information, like, they're not going to get the details of this. They may get just this sentence. They may see just what we're seeing here as a summary of what it is, and that's it, but not actually see the record itself with the language on it like that. It could very well be and should be redacted. That's one of the things that they're kind of debating back and forth. Order sounds like she's trying to punk us. It does kind of seem that way. Property of the U.S., it's not personal property. Well, right. How, again, we have presidential records, and there is a Presidential Records Act, and those presidential records are separate. A classified record has a classification marking on it. That is not a presidential record. So that's why, again, her order is so wonky. Can every president can forever keep top secret documents? Well, exactly. That's how it seems under this hypothetical she's posing. Like, I'm not sure how Jack would even answer that for count number 5. So he's going through count by count as she had requested, and he gets to count number 5, and he's like, how am I supposed to make this jury instruction so that a jury can see top secret nuclear capabilities of a foreign country under the Presidential Records Act? Like, that's not even possible. Trained to have basic knowledge of classification. Great question, Shirley. So that's one of the things that Jack has to show to the jury. So part of our job when we get our jury chosen, and even part of Wadir would be asking questions like, there are very strict rules about classified documents. Does anyone here feel like they're unable to learn about those rules? And then part of his case will be teaching them what these rules are, pulling in different people that are part of those rules, that have those kinds of qualifications, that train other people on classified documents, other people that trained Mr. Trump on classified documents. So all Jack has to do is to say, hey, did you train anybody on how classified documents work? Yes, I did. Who was it? Well, it was Trump. Well, there you go. Can Jack simply say it's not possible? Yes, he can. And that's what I would do. I would say it's just not possible, Your Honor, to give you what you're asking because it doesn't make sense. It is absurd. The whole thing is completely, excuse me. All right, so count number 6, everybody. So count number 5 is really, yikes. Count number 6 is also labeled as top secret. Again, they will have to teach the jury what these different designations mean and why they're chosen and why the executive order sets out those classification markings. All right, then next we have June 4th of 2020 here. White House intelligence briefing related to various foreign. So we have another White House intelligence briefing. So for some reason, everybody, he seemed to really grab onto these intelligence briefings. That's very interesting because I think this is the 4th one. Provide quotes from military brass. Yes, he could. He absolutely could. But he wouldn't necessarily need to provide quotes. He could just call in the military himself. He could call in the witness and say, hey, what do you do? I teach people what it is, or I label documents as classified, as top secret. That's my job, is to label them. I mean, imagine having someone who has that level of authority sitting in front of you on the witness stand explaining to you how classified documents work. I mean, that would be some pretty significant testimony. Also, how would you possibly discredit them? Let's just say we have a general on the stand saying this is how classification markings work. How is Mr. Trump's attorney going to come in and be like, you're not dependable, you're not trustworthy, we can't believe what you say, this isn't the proper process? Like, that's going to be really hard. That would be really hard to discredit that process. All right, so count 7 is October 21st of 2018. Communication with a leader of a foreign country. All right, communication with leader of foreign country. Okay, so now if it's a communication with a leader, let me just pose this also to the chat. What are we thinking? Is this a letter? Is this a letter or is this an email? Is this, do they use telegraphs? I don't know, everybody. But it says it's a communication. I'm wondering, is it a transcript from a phone call? That's my question as well. Phone call and an email. Love letter. The log of a phone call. That could be used as crayon. It's really hard to write details with a crayon, but all right. Jury be limited to security clearance. Yes, they could, if that was what was needed in order for them to even see basic information. Yes, they would need a low-level security, and that could be done. How far back is the communication? So it doesn't say, but it says the document itself is dated October 21st of 2018. Mostly email or a transcript. Okay. Excuse me. How does a former president need to have nuclear capability as a personal record? That's a really great question, and I would put that in my closing arguments. I would say to the jury, like, we all have things that we want to keep from our jobs, but, it's a little different. Not the president. Right. All right, so, excuse me, somebody could have drawn in a map. This one, again, is only labeled secret, not top secret. So we'll move that along, but that's count number 7. And Jack's doing the same thing. He's having to go through each one of these separate counts in order to kind of flush this order out that she has just filed. I know, everybody. For some reason, I just can't quite get rid of this cough yet. All right. So we've got count 8, which is labeled secret here. Document dated October 4th of 2019, concerning military capabilities of a foreign country. Yikes. So military capabilities. Again, this would be something where I don't think the jury would be able to have the privilege of seeing this because it is, important information. Also, everybody, all of this information is having to be carefully stored at the moment as well. Do you have picture pens on Canon, Jack and Donald? No, not yet, but I do have something I'm working on. I do have something. So never you worry, I will have something put together. Oh, the 100-day cough. Oh, no, I hope not. All right, so military capabilities of a foreign country. So again, we ask ourselves, according to Judge Cannon's hypothetical, does she think, or how would we describe a jury instruction that would allow someone to just be like, well, I've decided it's not classified anymore? Like, how does that even work? I don't know. All right, so that's count 8. Count number 9 is top secret. So that one, see how that one turns out as well. Can sell the ones he still has to pay for. Well, I'm wondering what's happening. That's the thing. Did they get them all, everybody? Did they get all of his documents? I'm not sure. I hope they did. All right, so we have an undated document. Undated, and it's concerning military attacks by a foreign country. So military attacks. I'm struggling. If I was on the jury, I would really be struggling with how sensitive this information is, and to be like, so this was just spilled all over the floor in Mar-a-Lago. I mean, let's get a visual, everybody. Let's just get a visual here. So let's just say we've got this document, top secret, military attacks by a foreign country, and it's just like it's that document right there. Like, what? I would really be struggling with that. I would really be, if somebody showed me this picture next to this like top secret document on military attacks, yikes. Yeah, I don't think I wouldn't be able to sit for this jury. I don't think so. I think I would be probably cut from this one. They were flown in from New Jersey. So at this point, we don't have an update on that. Guilty is all I got. That's funny. Yeah, they had golf clubs and shirts and stuff mixed in. I mean, come on. All right, count number 10 was labeled top secret. I'm wondering if he just picked like the, most important documents, because again, any of the other documents can be brought later at later charges. Mandamus now. I'm not sure at this point. It takes so much, and one ridiculous order, or even a couple really ridiculous orders that are just asking ridiculous questions. I don't know that it would rise to the level yet. Uh, I think there's a special coding for that, like not, no foreign country is supposed to see it, I think. Yeah, I mean it's all explained in the indictment. I just can't remember off the top of my head. All right, so November of 2017 here. Again, we're just trying to put together what these documents are looking like. We don't need to know the specifics, but I think it's good to have some idea of what documents she's talking about when she's saying make some jury instructions. No foreign national. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Please make the defense's case. Oh, I know. Oh my gosh. All right. Military capabilities of a foreign country. Why does he have so many? All right, so this I think is our third document of military capabilities of a foreign country. Do you think it's the same foreign country, or is this like multiple foreign countries? And why would he keep that? I mean, he was just interested, or do you think that perhaps this was something he thought he could share later? He wanted, really, you think so? Did it for favors, future arm bending. Could be for sale if Putin needs the information. Wow, that's such a good point. Yeah, it is called the Espionage Act. Absolutely, it certainly is. All right, so this is important. That's another one. So that's number, yeah. All right, now number 11 here, we have no marking. Now, one of the reasons why I have a question mark next to this one is because there's no marking on it. And if without a marking and more information, I'm not sure how it's a classified document. So this one is the only question. Excuse me, everybody. I'm still a little bit coffee. We have an undated document concerning military contingency planning. So contingency planning by the U.S. So it must be the nature itself is showing that it's a classified document. I don't know. Count 11 to me seems like it might go. Payback is private loans. Yikes. All right, so count 12, we have secret, labeled secret. And we have pages of undated documents concerning projected regional military capabilities of a foreign country and the United States. So projected regional military capabilities. Like, it just seems like you don't want this information to be shared. But, Judge Cannon's like, whatever. What if it was? What if he just decided to just, make this not classified? Like, what? Oh my gosh. All right, so this is not dated, so let's make a note of that. Not dated. Projected military capabilities, that's count 12. Then count 13 is listed as top secret. So top secret for count 13. Undated document concerning military capabilities of a foreign country and the United States. All right, so this is actual military capabilities of another country. Military capabilities. I really wish we could get like a high-ranking military person to come out and be like, this is awful. I mean, I know they have to some degree, but they can't fully go into how awful they really believe it is, But I think that would be interesting. He told Foreign National Australian that info. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it was specifically count 13 that he did, but yeah, some count was. All right. Count 14 is just secret, although again, secret is still classified. Document dated January of 2020 concerning military options. So again, we have military and we have White House briefings. Those seem to be the two big ones. Military options of a foreign country and the effects. Military options. A foreign country. Wow. Okay. And effects on the U.S. Effects on U.S. Here we go. All right, so that was count 14. Now we've got count 15 is labeled as secret. Again, each time there's a label on it, it means it's classified. So, all right, we have February of 2020. And then very vague concerning policies in a foreign country. So policies in foreign country. Okay, so that at least is not military. So there's that. So maybe count 15's not too bad. Maybe. I don't know, everybody. Oh, it's so upsetting. Whew. All right. Military, White House briefing. Let's see. Here we go. Flip the page. Drone strikes. No, not drone strikes. Oh my gosh. All right. So count 16. Let's take a look. We've got, it's labeled as secret. And then we have document dated December of 2019 concerning foreign country support of the TAX against the United States interests. That's interesting. Okay, so foreign country support of TAX. I think we all know what that is. TAX against the U.S. Against U.S. Woo, I wonder what country that is, but I don't want to know. All right, that's count 16. That has directly to do with TAX. All right, count 17 is labeled top secret. So we have a document dated January of 2020. January 2020, concerning military capabilities of a foreign country. So we have another military one. That's just a lot of military information. Military capabilities of foreign country. Okay, so we've got more military. That's 17. All right, count 18 here is labeled secret. Here, let me see, okay, so it's just secret, not top secret. Document dated March of 2020. And it's concerning military operations against the United States and others. So another military one. Military operations, yikes, against, all right, against U.S. and others. All right, so there we go. These foreign country capabilities to defend my life. Oh my goodness gracious. All right, next is secret. So count 19 is labeled secret. Formally restricted data, so all right. Undated document concerning nuclear weaponry. Oh, that's nice. Everybody. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. It's undated. Oh my goodness. All right. Nuclear weaponry. Oh my gosh. Come on. All right. Okay, sure, Judge Cannon, this could just be presidential record right here. You know, just what his thoughts were of the eclipse when he looked at it. Oh my gosh. What? How much we do know, just imagine. Oh, I know. Oh my goodness. All right. Excuse me. So that's 2 documents now on the nuclear. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Count 19. All right. Well, let's hope there's no more nuclear stuff. Just some light reading. Oh my gosh. All right. Top secret is count 20. So let's take a look here. Excuse me. All right, undated document for timeline and details of attack in a foreign country. So undated attack in a foreign country. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I don't, if he wins, he wins. I'm just going through the fact that he had, nuclear weapons information in his toilet. That's what I'm going through. So, whatever, whatever happens in November. All right, count 21. We have a secret, labeled secret, undated also. I know. It's hard. It's hard to think and write at the same time. All right, undated. Here we go. And then concerning military capabilities. So we have another military capabilities of a foreign country. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have nightmares tonight, everybody. Oh my gosh. All right, so number 22. Here we go. This one is top secret. I'm kind of, all right. Document dated August of 2019 concerning regional military activity of a foreign country. So regional military activity. There's just a lot of military stuff of a foreign country. I wonder too, do the military people just give it to him and then leave the room? I'm just, curious. See a common thread that supports he chose specific. It looks like he chose specific files. Yes, that's what I'm saying. It looks like there are specific papers that he chose, everybody. This wasn't like, oh, I'll take some of this and some of this. Oh, I have happy memories of lunch when we talked about this. No, this looks pretty specific, everybody. This looks incredibly specific. I don't think you're just taking military plans and, foreign country stuff. I mean, that's pretty specific, everybody. All right. Oh my gosh, just for one, probably just for even looking at it, for getting too close to it. Those rules are so strict, everybody. Oh my gosh. All right, let's take a look. Let's keep going. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's it for the military stuff. We'll see. This one is labeled top secret. And it's a document dated August 30th of 2019. Concerning White House intelligence briefing related to various foreign countries. Again, that's another White House intelligence briefing. So that seems to be the two categories, military plans and intelligence briefings. Those are the two categories. Yikes. And this also has handwritten notes on it as well. I think that's important to know. That's important. All right, so count 24 is, let's see. Count 24 is top secret. Okay, again, all of this is public information, everybody. This isn't, this isn't some kind of private, high access level information. This is all public. Undated document concerning military activity again. Okay, so another military document. Wow, we're going to have to sort through and put all the military ones in one spot. Undated. This is military activity. Although I'm wondering, is it lots of different military activities for lots of countries, or is it one country that he's really interested in that has had multiple military activities? That's another question too, I suppose. So this is, this is the indictment, the Florida Classified Records indictment, everyone. And this is just part of the indictment of the information to support the charging document. All right, so military activity, number 25. It may be our allies, could be. Lots of countries. Multiple countries? Okay, so we think it's multiple. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Because, if he's like, oh, I'm really interested in this one country, but I just can't see that either. But yeah, I definitely see a trend here. All right, top secret for count 25. Document dated October 24th. Again, none of this is, super private information. Oh, we've got more military activity. Oh, I'm starting to get concerned, everybody. Military activity. Yikes. A foreign country here. Okay. Five Eyes. Oh, could be. Yeah, I mean, that was part of the way of defining it. All right, count 26 was labeled top secret. So we have document dated November 7th of 2019 concerning military activity of foreign countries. Wow, everybody, this is so much. I mean, I wonder again how the jury would sit there and see paper after paper of classified military activity, how they would feel about that. I mean, are they going to be able to be persuaded? Like, oh, I was president, so I could change this with just a thought in my mind. Is that really going to be persuasive? All right, count 27. All right, we're coming down to the last few counts, everybody. So this one was also top secret. Top secret, document dated November of 2019 concerning military activity in foreign countries. All right, military, yikes. Oh my gosh, okay. Foreign countries, yikes. All right. Light toilet reading, right. I'm like, oh my gosh. All right, so, okay, count 28, top secret also. And this is October 18th of 2019. And this is another White House intelligence briefing. So again, that's that second category. So it's military plans and White House intelligence briefings. All right, so here we're coming down to the final few counts. Let's take a look here. Count 29. How can our country be so? That's a great question. Signal intelligence, intercepted electronic communications. Oh my gosh. Yeah, oh my goodness. All right, top secret. I'm gonna need, oh my gosh. Yikes. I'm gonna need some warm milk before I go to sleep tonight. All right, October 18th of 2019. Military capabilities again. So we have military capabilities. All right. Yikes. All right, number 30, top secret. We only have a couple left, everybody, for this batch. Now remember, he's got a whole bunch more documents that he did not charge. So these are the ones, thank you, James. These are the ones that he did charge. So, again, just that's kind of a way to keep it in the back of your mind. We've got October 15th of 2019. Military activity again. Wow, military activity in a foreign country. Oh, so again, he keeps saying like, well, all of these documents, like, let's just take for a minute and think about that. So all of these documents, he could decide to declassify is what he's saying, just by thinking about it. So he has all of these military plans that he thinks it's okay then to just declassify whenever he wants. I mean, that's the other side of the argument too. It's like, wait, you shouldn't be able to do that. No one should be able to just declassify military documents whenever they want, just for fun. That doesn't seem right. I mean, I don't know, but that seems suspicious to me. All right, so February of 2017, military activity again. Military activity. Yikes. All right. And then the last one. Yeah, there's a process. Exactly. And there should be, and rightfully so. I mean, people can't just go willy-nilly declassifying. I don't care if you're the president or not. I mean, that's just like that's not good stuff. We can't be doing that. All right, and then this one was the one that was added. Top secret, and this was a presentation concerning military activity. So this was a presentation. Okay. Presentation of military. Wow. That is not how you spell military. I apologize. Yikes, in a foreign country. Okay, so let's take a look then, everybody. Let's put these into the categories. We've got, I think, just 3 categories. We have military, we have White House briefings, and then we have kind of like etc. So let's take a look. Count 32, count 31 is military, count 30 is military, count 29 is military, count 28 is a White House intel briefing, count 27 is military, count 26 is military, count 25 is also military, count 24 is military, count 23 is the White House intel brief with handwritten notes, count 22 is military, count 21 is military, count 20 is an undated attack in a foreign country. Is that military, everybody? Is an undated attack in a foreign country military? What do we think? What category? Military. Is that right? Should I put this one in military? Undated attack. Okay, undated attack is military, everybody. All right. Secret undated nuclear weaponry. Ooh, nuclear weapons. Should that have its own category? Should we put nuclear in its own category? Okay, let's put nuclear in its own category. So we'll put nuclear here and then military here. Okay, Department of Energy. All right, so nuclear, okay, yes, got it. All right, so then we have count 18, military operations, and then count 17, military capabilities, count 16, foreign country support of TACs against the United States. Is that military? Foreign country support of TACs? I don't know. That looks like it might be, maybe that could be miscellaneous? TACs? No, yes. Yes, intelligence. Yes. Is it military? Yeah, I think it's different. Let's put it down here. We'll put a special category for TACs. Okay, national security. Yeah, we'll do national security. So White House intel briefings and then national security. Its own category. Yeah, I think so too. All right. Excuse me. Policies in a foreign country. I think that would also be national security here. Intelligence. Okay. Military option. That's military also. Okay, this is intelligence. We've got intelligence here. Nuclear here. These are White House intel briefings, and then that's military. Okay, yep. It's supposed to be border security in Texas. Yeah, I don't know which category that would be here. Top secret military. Okay, that's military. Projected military there for count 12. Contingency planning by the U.S. Contingency planning, is that intelligence or is that military? Is that contingency? Contingency. Oh, hold on. Sorry, everybody. Hold on. There we go. Woohoo! Sorry. All right. We got it. Intelligence. Okay. Contingency planning is intelligence. All right. All right, intelligence. Foreign pop. Yeah. All right, so another top secret military. And then we have military again. Military for count 8. Communication with a leader in a foreign country. I would say that would be intelligence. I had to do the puzzle, Andy. It's hard to do those little puzzles. Okay, White House Intel briefing. So that's our third one. So we had 3 of those. Okay. Yes. Okay. Nuclear. Next, nuclear. Count 5 is nuclear. So 5 and 19 are nuclear. And then we have a White House intelligence briefing. Intel briefing. Count 4. And then we have military, White House intel briefing here, and then another briefing. Okay. All right. So we've got the category. We've got the categories. So we have counts 5 and 19 are nuclear information. All right. So 2 of those. Then we have counts 1, 2, 4, 6, 23 and 28 are White House intel briefings, some with handwritten notes, some without. Those are the briefings. We have intelligence. I think we just labeled these intelligence. So communication with a foreign country, contingency planning, and then policies in a foreign country. Oh, we have 4. Sorry, we have 4 of those. And then another country supporting T acts against the US. So those are 4 intelligence here. And then everybody, look at all the military. Look at all these military documents he had. Like, what's he doing with all these? Like, that's really, that's really worrisome. All right, let's take a look. We have count 3, count 8, count 9, count 10, count 12, count 13, count 14, count 17, count 18, count 20, count 21, count 22, count 24, count 25, count 26, count 27, count 29, count 30, count 31 and 32. These are all military. So this is that's the big category then. Looks like he was really interested in the military records. Yeah, I mean, they'll just go through the counts. I don't think they'll give specifics. I don't think they can. I don't think this information can be any more specific. How many were top secret? So for the military or for everyone? I think the nuclear ones were, so this one was secret, this one was top secret for the nuclear. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, these military ones, there's a lot of top secret. 5, 6, 7, 8. Looking at the top secret. 9. Okay, so 9 so far, and then we have secret. We have top secret, secret, top secret, secret. Oh my gosh, they're almost all top secret, everybody. Top secret, secret, top secret. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 were secret. Everything else was top secret military. So these are all top secret military documents. All of these here. Of course they are. Yikes! It's a bit worrisome, isn't it? It seems a bit worrisome. So they're all different years. These are all the military ones. Some of the records are undated. We've got 2017, 2020, undated, 2017, 2019, 2019. October, November were busy months. It looks like August in 2019, back to October. So October and November, what was going on in, well, I don't want to know. I don't want to know, everybody. And then we have 2020. So it looks like we've got a range of different military dates. How would he have 2020? Well, I mean, he was president until January of 2021, right? Turkey could be. Yeah, and then the financial stuff, right? So, I mean, he's gonna know. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, everybody. So for me, honestly, it's the nuclear stuff and it's the military. That stuff's a little bit concerning. Like, I get it. Like, these are all, like, you're not supposed to share this stuff, but oh my gosh, it's a bit disturbing, everybody. We're kept well. Right. So these 32 were all found at Mar-a-Lago. So these are not all that were found. These are just the ones that they charged. So they found 27 documents in Trump's office, 75 in the storage room. That's what they found at Mar-a-Lago. And excuse me, they did set out the different classification markings for each of those. So they only charged 32 documents. So they went through, and it's a mix of secret and top secret here. So the ones with the different markings on it. So again, the reason why I think it's important to take a look is because we have this order here from Judge Cannon, right? Judge Cannon came in and was like, all right, so Trump and special counsel each shall file proposed jury instructions limited to the essential elements of the offenses charged in counts 1 through 32. So we just went through the counts. So the only pieces of each count is, was it classified? Did you have authority? Was it in your possession? So that's kind of the counts. Those are the elements that have to be set out, essentially. Understand that juries are judges of facts, not law. The proposals shall take care to specify in incorporated briefing as necessary exactly what factual questions are reserved for the jury on counts 1 through 32 in light of the recently argued motions to dismiss. And then we have number 2, deadline here will be set later. With respect to the proposed language pertinent to the issue of unauthorized possession specifically, the parties must engage with the following. Competing scenarios and offer alternative draft text that assumes each scenario to be correct formulation of the law to be issued to the jury while reserving counter arguments. So again, what does this even mean? Parties must engage in the following. So she's wanting them to go through each count like we just did. We just went through each count and apply these 2 scenarios. And this first scenario is saying, again, if we take a look at this, a jury permitted to examine the record retained by a former president in his or her personal possession at the end of the presidency, make a factual finding as to whether the government has proven beyond a reasonable doubt that it's personal or presidential, using definitions set out in the Presidential Records Act, which again, those definitions are not appropriate because we're talking about classified records, not presidential records. So how would you go about even, there is no answer here. Yeah, would these be personal records? So tell me which one of these top secret military records is his personal record. Like which one of these? Like, did he write a note? Like, was he saying like, happy birthday, Melania, on the military action in a foreign country one? Like, what are we talking about here? What are we doing? Is this, how about this one? The nuclear capabilities of a foreign country. Maybe is that personal? Is that, like, what are you talking about? This judge, she is just something different. She's something a little different. 100,000. Oh, thanks everybody. Thanks for the likes. Oh my gosh. Happy birthday. Yeah. I mean, what's her name again? I don't get it. Yeah, just because he holds them doesn't mean that they're personal. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, military record, if it was maybe your marriage certificate that you got married in the, oh, thank you. You got married in the military. I mean, I don't know, everybody. This thin. It's real thin. It looks really thin to me. It looks thin. I'm not sure, Lynn. I mean, I'm wondering. I do. I do have a birthday coming up. How did you know that? Kristen. But the question is, I'm wondering if Judge Cannon has not really taken a look at this stuff. Like if she would go through and look and say, what do we need this many top secret classified military documents for? And you're like, well, this military action's no longer important. Like, that's fine. Well, what about the 20 other counts? What about the other 21? I just don't know. I mean, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Trump's side of this is, well, yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. So we don't know exactly, again, what's in the documents. We don't want to know. This is plenty of information for us, everybody. We don't need to. We don't need to know. We don't need to know more than this, but thank you for, well, yeah, exactly, Rosie. That's what I'm saying. If you put it together like this and you look, we have 4 categories of records. These aren't like letters that he wrote, or emails that he had with, Boris, like, hey, Boris, what's going on? What's up, dude? This military records. Military records. Oh my goodness. Oh yes, I feel better not knowing about the nuclear stuff. I feel the same way about aliens. Like, I just don't want to know. I don't need to know that information. Oh my goodness. Except, well, right, dear Boris, we've always been close. I think you're the greatest ever. Like, sure, but we have 32 counts, and not a one is a love letter to Boris. Not a single one. Oh my goodness. Well, yeah, and not a single one is a presidential record. If it was a presidential record, it wouldn't be labeled top secret. Okay, it's just that simple. Oh my goodness gracious. That's a lot of birthday wishes. Oh my gosh, everybody. What are we going to do with this? Oh, goodness. I don't even know. See the topics. I know. Well, I think it's okay for judges to be innovative and to try new things, but on the other hand, it's like, what are you doing? Is she trying to maybe teach his attorneys? Is she trying to be like, hey guys, can you even come up with jury instructions? Probably not, because the Presidential Records Act doesn't apply. Like, is she trying to do that? I just don't know. I don't know. Oh my gosh. They're all presidential records. No, that's not true, Andrea. Andrea. Top secret military record is not a presidential record. No. I just can't. What are you even talking? I can't. So if we had an act called the Male Person Records Act, so any record a male person received was now a male person's record. But like, wait, what if they received my mail? Like, is that still a male person's record? Come on. I can't do it. I can't. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I can't do it. Hypothetical reply to hypothetical law. I agree. It's going to be difficult. Well, right. And, even if you want to go into the White House intel briefing, fine. I would say fine. So if you somehow want to say, hey, these White House intel briefings that are labeled top secret, he's like, well, they're not top secret. Fine. But that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 counts. That's 6 counts. We got 32 counts here. That's like 6, like even if we put those aside, we still have the nuclear We still have 2 counts of nuclear information. Oh my gosh. I can't. Oh my goodness gracious. You're welcome. Yes, you're very, very welcome. Can you go over the Presidential Records Act? Yes, I certainly can. I certainly can. Let me see. Where did I put that? Presidential Records Act. Okay, one moment, please. Let me see if I have have it here. I have it on me. Let me check. I've got it in another folder, so give me one moment. I'll be right back. I think it's good to go through that. So, be right back. Okay, everybody, here we go. I had to reprint it. I apologize. Oh, just a minute. I'm printing it out right now. Just 1 second. Okay, here we go. Here we go. We're ready. Let's do a refresher on the Presidential Records Act, everyone. Refresher, yay. All right, so we have definitions, which is what she's talking about in her order. Ownership of presidential records, management and custody of presidential records, restrictions on access, regulations, vice presidential records, and claims of constitutionally based privilege against disclosure. So let's start with the definitions. So, number 1, the term documentary material means all books, correspondence, memorandum, documents, papers, pamphlets, works of art, models, pictures, photographs, plats, maps, films, and motion pictures, including but not limited to audio and visual records or other electronic or mechanical recordations, whether in analog, digital, or any other form. So this is the key, everybody, right here. The term presidential records means documentary material or any reasonably segregable portion thereof created or received by the president's immediate staff, or a unit or individual of the executive office, or the president, whose function is to advise or assist the president in the course of conducting activities which relate to or have an effect upon the carrying out of the constitutional, statutory, or other official or ceremonial duties of the president. It includes documentary materials relating to political activities of the president or members of the president's staff, but only if such activities relate to or have a direct effect on the carrying out of constitutional, statutory, or other official or ceremonial duties of the president, but does not include any documentary materials that are 1. Official records of an agency, as defined in Section 552E, Title 5 of the U.S. Code. Personal records, stocks or publications, and stationery or extra copies of documents produced only for the convenience of reference when such copies are clearly so identified. So personal records are also set out like diaries, journals, materials relating to private political associations, materials relating exclusively to the president's own election to the office is C. Archivist is listed as well, and that is the definition section. So we also have ownership here. Now, this is kind of important as well, everybody. The United States shall reserve and retain complete ownership, possession, and control of presidential records, and such records shall be administered in accordance with the provisions of this chapter. So, even if they were presidential records, they're still owned by the United States. I think that part also gets missed as well. So, you can call whatever you want, but presidential record, but still, all of it's owned by the United States. So we have also management and custody of presidential records. So going in here, documentary materials produced or received by the president, the staff or units or individuals in the executive office of the president. Here, if they, upon their creation or receipt, shall be filed separately and during the term where those records need to be kept as well. So again, I think that's kind of important. Most immediately be removed. So that's a really good question. Hold on, I've got one more page to grab from my printer. And I think too, everybody, one of the important things to remember is the whole reason why the National Archives even got involved was because they were actually looking for presidential records. They thought that Mr. Trump had taken a bunch of presidential records to Mar-a-Lago. When they went and got the search warrant and went through the stuff looking for presidential records, they came across classified documents. Now, classified documents and presidential records. So a classified document could be a presidential record, but a presidential record cannot be a classified document because of the amount of training and authority that you have to have in order to have those documents. All right, so that's why there's some confusion here, is because you could have a classified document and it's a presidential record, but you cannot classify, you cannot swap those around, because a presidential record by itself is not classified. Those aren't the same things. So the best way to find that information is going to be comparing and contrasting the Presidential Records Act with the executive order that set out the rules for classifying documents. Now, I've done several lives on that executive order, and I've also done a whole series of lives where I read through the entire Presidential Records Act. And so you can look up, and I have it in, I think, 5 or 10 minute pieces, and I read through the entire Presidential Records Act, as well as, again, that executive order. They're two separate documents, they're two separate laws, and they set out the rules for how to have a classified document. If a classified document is not declassified, it cannot be a presidential record by itself. It's still a classified document. I mean, I'm not Hosea, it's not reaching, that's just how the law is. So if people want to come in, if you want to come in here and tell me that all of these top secret military records, Mr. Trump's like, I just declassified all these top secret military records because I wanted to put them in a box and take them to Mar-a-Lago. You know, come on, right? Come on. That's ridiculous. He can declassify with his mind, right? But should he? I think about that. Even if that premise, even if you need to believe that, if you need to believe what Mr. Trump says, that he can just think about something and it's declassified, is that appropriate? Is that okay? Should anyone in the United States be able to just use the power of their mind and declassify a top secret military document? I mean, what? What are we doing? Right, and how come just he gets to do that? How come none of our other presidents in the history of the United States can just think to themselves, la 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 la, it's declassified now. Come on. I can't. Biden reclassified that with his mind. So the point is, he can say, listen, he's already admitted, I was working with NARA on this and they decided to, invade my home. So he already knew he needed to give the documents back. The problem was he was not giving them back. NARA was like, dude, give them back. And he's like, I'm not going to. I'm going to keep whatever I want because that's how Mr. Trump is. And so NARA was like, fine, DOJ, what are we supposed to do? So, I mean, this whole situation was brought on because Mr. Trump wanted to keep all this stuff for himself. And, he can't. You can't. For a year and a half, I know. I know. So we can look through the Presidential Records Act. And even if somehow you wanted to just magically erase all of the classification markings, so let's just magically erase the top secrets on the nuclear capabilities. Let's erase that. Well, and you're saying this is now a presidential record. Fine. Well, under the Presidential Records Act, that's still the property of the United States. Even if it's not classified, he's not supposed to have it. He's supposed to give it back. That's just how it is. Like, I didn't write the law. That's just how the law is, man. I know. I'm sorry that your little buddy's in trouble, but life's about choices. Mr. Trump made his when he decided to not work with NARA. Now, if he had, he could be in the same situation that all the previous presidents, when they took a bunch of stuff and NARA was like, dudes, we need our stuff back. And they're like, fine, here you go. They didn't get charged. That's the problem, is that he was like, I'm special. I'm Mr. Special, and I'm going to do what I want. And so then he got charged. I mean, that's just how it works. I broke the law and the law won. Right. So, I mean, this isn't like some big, I'm not going to go down the road that this is some big cloak and dagger, like James Bond-esque situation. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But if you're just looking at the facts, I'm looking at a stack of top secret military records. That's what I'm looking at here. That's it. He's not supposed to have them, and he took them. Right. So the presidential records are records the president has. Classified records are records that are labeled classified. If it's not labeled classified, it's not a classified record. Oh my goodness. And there's only 3 levels of classification. And if it's labeled classified, then it's classified. Oh my gosh. Eminent domain. Could be. I feel that way. I feel like we're kind of in a bit of a like Willy Wonka land. Like, are we going down the chocolate river? Like, what's happening? Why do we just like, well, I'm using my powers of my mind and I'm going to declassify top secret nuclear capabilities of foreign country. Like, what? What are we doing? Ah. Classification markings does not even matter for the law, just that they contain national defense. So perhaps my reading of the executive order says it has to be labeled. Now, I get it. Anything more than that, anything more like complicated, I'm unwilling to learn about. If it's labeled classified, it's classified. That's it. Please post this to YouTube. I will. I certainly will. We need... I know. I mean, I get it. He's trying to, I would too. I would come in and I'd be like, wow, these are presidential records. They're like, well, you didn't classify them as presidential records. They're still classified. Well, what do I need to do in order to say they're presidential records? All I have to do is say it. And it's like, what? Just throw a squirrel at it and all of a sudden it's a presidential record now. Like, come on. I know. I'm sorry. I think this last order from Judge Cannon may have tipped me over, everybody. It may have just tipped me over. Because now she's like, hey, let's use some hypotheticals where nothing matters. No, words don't matter anymore. We can just say what we want. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Nothing. I know. Nothing means what it's supposed to mean. Oh my goodness gracious, everybody. Right, the binder. What binder? That was my binder. What do you mean? What binder are you talking? It's totally magical. Oh my goodness, everybody. I know. So let's talk about where we go from here, because we're going down a rocky road, everybody. We've got a judge who's like loop-de-loo, and I can understand. I'd be loop-de-loo too, and I may be getting there. But at this point, Jack's answer is very simple. Like, your question doesn't make sense, Your Honor, and I cannot answer it without further explanation. That's it. Now, he can request Judge Cannon recuse herself. Typically, recusal is based off of some kind of bias, right? Or some kind of conflict of interest. It can also be if you are incompetent, if you are unable to understand how your job is supposed to work, that would be incompetence. So there's lots of grounds out there that he could ask for recusal. But once you ask a judge for recusal, they're going to give you the stink eye. And so he's probably been trying to not get the stink eye. He's like, I don't want to ask our judges. I want to have faith in the system. I want to have faith in our judges. I've worked with really crap judges before. I'll keep it going. But at some point, he's going to have to just, make the call. And he's going to have to push the red button and he's going to have to end it. Now, if it will be because of this order or if he's going to play around with this a little bit, that could be as well. But all the rest of us in the stands are like, come on, Jack. Come on, man. Come on. Until we get an order appealed and in front of the 11th Circuit, the 11th Circuit can't do anything. They don't have any grounds. They have to have something appealed to them. They have to have a motion in front of them in order to do something. So they can only watch, like the rest of us, in horror as we see what's happening. But until a motion goes in front of them, they cannot do anything. Yes, and a CISIPA case, exactly, exactly. And there are a lot of things in place to safeguard lots of things, and that's fantastic. Can he appeal her jury instruction assignment? So let's walk through that. We have an order requiring a preliminary proposed jury instructions. So first of all, these are just proposed jury instructions. They're not actual jury instructions they're going to give to the jury, and a verdict form. So we have no finality here. We don't have a final piece. You need to have something finalized in order to appeal it. So she is making a requirement, but only for preliminary proposed jury instructions. So if he wanted to, he could come in and just say, instruction number 1, this is bologna sandwich, signed Jack Smith, technically. Now, if she comes back and tries to sanction him or tries to negatively affect the trial because of his bologna sandwich, then he can appeal that order. But this order is asking these attorneys to give preliminary proposed jury instructions. There's just no finality to it. So I don't see how this order itself could be appealed. Now, if she sanctions him off of his reaction to this order, now that could be appealed. But at this moment in the game, she's just ordering some hey, toss some questions at me, everybody. And that kind of a wide open question that has no teeth to it isn't something that can be appealed. Absolute chaos. Yeah, but let me see how it. Well, there has to be some kind of a negative impact. And that's a good way to think about at what point can he appeal her. When there is a negative repercussion on him, on the state, that's the point at which he can appeal. So an order just asking for basically a written assignment like in law school, that so far isn't harming him. But if she doesn't like his answer, now that could be harmful. So you have to gauge the level of harm in order to see what can be appealed. The Chewbacca defense. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I mean, we got a young Supreme Court. I don't know. There's not a lot of spots open. Oh my gosh. Jack Smith's office when he received this. Oh, I can't even. It's just, oh my gosh. I'm still struggling, everyone. I'm struggling. This may be the order that has tipped me over. Oh, this may be the one. If the glove doesn't fit, you must have quit. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, no. Nightmares. Yeah, I don't know if this is really about her. I know a lot of people are like, oh, she's on the side of Trump. And, I get it. I totally get it. But I'm not even sure that she's elevated to that level where she's even able to plan to that level. This order to me shows just complete incompetence. It doesn't show a bias. It shows that she does not know what she's doing, in my opinion. So green, right, and that's what we're dealing with. Rather than some kind of maliciousness, she's probably maybe she's got some kind of stars in her eyes, like, ooh, the president, blah blah blah. But that's possible that could be an element of it. But in the end, this is just plain, this is just basic incompetence, is what this is at this point. Yeah, and Jack probably sees it as well. Yeah, I don't doubt it. You don't feel she understands how bad the situation is. I agree. And I think it's because of how little experience she has. She's not been knocked down hard enough to recognize what a mess this is. Never believed until Trump came along. I don't know. I mean, I struggle with conspiracy theories, but after this order, everybody, I think it's all off. All bets are off, everyone. After this order, I did not know there would be a day when a judge would come out with two hypotheticals that completely support the defense side requesting jury instructions. My mind is officially blown. Can her bosses remove her? That's the question. They have to have something also they have to have something to stand on. So for the Chief Justice in that area to pull her, they're going to have to be at a point where they can make that decision. Now, does this show incompetence? It could. It could. Could you explain what jury instructions are? Sure. So jury instructions, everybody, are the directions given to the judge or given to the jury after the trial. So, for example, I just happened to pull the 11th Circuit Judicial Council jury instructions. So at the end of every trial, the judge will go through certain directions, certain orders for the jury. And there's general ones in general, like, don't talk to other people about your case. Don't do weird stuff. Like, let me give you an example. I'm not giving you a good example here. Like credibility of a witness. In reaching your verdict, you may have to decide what testimony to believe and what testimony not to believe. You may believe everything a witness says or part of it or none of it. In considering the testimony of any witness, you may take into account and then the following. So that's just a general one. And then you pull in instructions specific to your case. So we're dealing with section 793E of the U.S. Code. So then you would need to have instructions on, so if this is a classified document, then you do this. If this was in possession of such and such, then you do this. So it really it's a map. It walks our jury through how to get to their decision. It doesn't tell them what to decide. It tells them how to kind of navigate the process of going through it. Yes, they're very careful to try to help the jury not have any undue influence. So to keep the biases out of the way. And, the only thing the jury really has at the end are these instructions in order to follow them. Like, how do we know what we're supposed to do? What are the directions here? We listen to all of the evidence, and so now we got to walk through all of the instructions, answer the questions, and when we get to the answer all of the questions. When we get to the end, it'll tell us whether or not our verdict is, this or that, because we've answered all the questions. What if she's asking for jury instructions so she can gain insight about running this trial? That could very well be, Hugo. That's something I thought of as well. I'm like, well, maybe she's just trying to kind of get this all out, flesh it out, because, when they were arguing this motion to dismiss, there were still questions on the table. So maybe she's developed these based off of what they were arguing during their motions to dismiss in trial. So she's like, let's just put it down black and white on paper, and so we can just hash it out. But even if that's the way, like, you can kick all kinds of stuff around in chambers or even in the courtroom. You're like, well, what's this? What's that? Your Honor, what's this? What's that? But when you put it down in an order, and she rarely even writes orders, but when you put it in an order like this, where you're posing two hypotheticals, you're pulling in the Presidential Records Act like this, it's just, it's not good practice. It's just not good practice. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about who's going to be president and who's not going to be president, but I do know this is crazy town. This right here, this is crazy town. We have entered the crazy level with this. So yeah, this one blew my mind, everybody. Even with all of the crazy stuff we have seen filed by Mr. Trump's attorneys, and there's been some madness, especially with that almost 5,000 page filing out of New York. Like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? But this order, this is the worst I've ever seen. The absolute worst. Now my mind's open to say, if someone comes out and some kind of legal person comes out and says, yeah, this is the style we always did with whatevers, I'm willing to say, fine, I was wrong, let's go forward. But until that happens, this is a lot. Note cards. Well, yeah, I think the cards help everybody. I think they help. So let's just, before we close out for tonight, let's take a look again at what we've got here. We have 32 counts, 32 classified documents. We have top secret military records. We have nuclear codes. We have White House briefings. Again, maybe those briefings are public. Maybe they're not classified. Fine. But if they're labeled classified, then they're classified. So, there's that. But this is what we have. I mean, we're not talking about like, a shirt that he got from Hungary, or like, was I was with five other guys holding on to a evil globe one day, and it was great. I mean, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about like nuclear stuff. There's like real stuff. Oh my goodness gracious. It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. So keep that in mind. I will be coming back again and let's just leave count 5 here at the top, right? Because with your mind, you can just change that. But, I think it's important to note. Now, all of this information, again, is all listed in the public in the superseding indictment. So remember, this is the indictment that has all of the proper charges, all of the documents in it as well. So in all of the code sections, this particular set of counts 1 through 32, are all under section 793E of the U.S. Code, and it has to do with retention, unlawful retention of documents. That's really all it is. We'll be going through the Texas SCOTUS decision. I'm looking at it right now. It's taking a lot. It's taking a lot to get through it. So I think so. Why was personal stuff mixed in with the documents? It shows carelessness. Yeah, and I think, everything got kind of thrown together perhaps, but for me, I'm struggling to find the randomness of all of these military records. Like almost all of these counts are military records. That doesn't seem random to me. That seems somehow, plotted out. But I'm not saying there's a conspiracy, but I'm saying I'm not sure how random the whole packing situation was. So I don't know. Thanks for your hard work. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. What other way would you, if you had, let's just say you've got 32, although it was many more than that. You've got 32 documents that you probably shouldn't have based off of what he said on a tape. I probably shouldn't have this, or you probably shouldn't look at this. Those were his own words. So he knew there was something hinky about the paperwork he had. And if you wanted to keep it, how would you get it out of where you were living? Would you mix it in with all of your other stuff in order to get it out of the residence into your home residence and then go through it when you had time? Is that how you do it? That's how I do it. That's how I would get it out. If I had all this stuff, I'd be like, mix it in with, whatever, my cake pans and my, whatever, my Celine Dion records, mix it all up. Then nobody will know. Who's going to go through my Celine Dion memorabilia box? Who's going to do that? Nobody. Yeah, so they packed it all up. Oh. Yeah, and Mary, that's a great question. Was anyone checking as he was packing it? Probably not, because there was so much going on. There was so much madness going on at the time. It was not a smooth transition between one president to the other. This was like the most not smooth that we've seen. So I think there's a lot of that. Yeah, I mean, that's actually in the record. That's actually in the documents that it was Celine Dion. There was, bless her. Yeah, the 5th guy came forward. Yeah. What does Jack do now? Well, right now, he's going to have to figure out whether or not he's ready to go forward and ask for a recusal, or if he's wanting to play this game with the judge. If he's finding the cost-benefit analysis to be like the benefits are higher for me to just play this game or not. So that's where Jack's going to be at. Does it make it okay? Absolutely not. No, absolutely not. No, none of this is okay. None of this is okay. All of this is just, how do we survive this? That's what all of this is. How do we get through this? And also, how can so many people think there's nothing wrong with it? That's the other thing too. Like, how can anyone take a look at this and think, oh, well, he just declassified it. Like, that's not the point. That's not the point. If he declassified it or not, that's not the point. The point is that he had this stuff and he wasn't supposed to have it. Yes, I will be posting this up on my Tube of You channel. Yep, I've got a couple that'll be coming out in the next few days. So, yep, I'll be getting it back up pretty soon. So, yeah, it's disturbing. Well, on that positive note, everybody, I'm going to have to sign off for tonight. Oh, my goodness. But I'm so glad that I was able to come and hang out with everybody and kind of go through this. I'm going to need some time still to deal with how this whole order worked out, because this is really a lot. It's a lot, everybody. So I will be back again. I'm planning to be back on Friday for sure. I'll be going through, we'll have several things that I'll be able to go through on Friday as well. We do have Trump's filing for SCOTUS, so we've got that. And then I've got a couple of interesting things that have kind of come out of Georgia and various places. So I will be back again on Friday, everybody. So always good to see you all. I wish you all the very best. So take care. Have a, excuse me, have a great night, everyone. And I'll see you again very soon. Take care.